Hey everyone, welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Essentials. Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 15, why CEOs should absolutely learn how to sell in their companies. A shout out on my t-shirt today. This was produced by Zach Hotchkiss, who is always one of our best at Bizarre Voice and is now all the way in Sydney, Australia, where he's living a great life with his children out there and continuing to lead sales for different companies. Zach was the head of our inside sales team at Bizarre Voice, among other sales roles. And there was a lot of Spartan imagery, big fans of the movie 300 there, and a real incredible sales culture. So I'm wearing this shirt in his honor, as well as in honor of the amazing sales culture that we created at Bizarre Voice, and we're doing our best here at Data.World, my sixth venture, to replicate. So here we go with chapter 15. This chapter is called A Call to Action for CEOs on Selling. And I originally wrote this chapter in November of 2018, so it's going to sound a little dated as I read this in this time of COVID, because I have not been traveling a lot during this time, as you can imagine. Okay, so here we go. For this lesson from the Entrepreneur's Essentials, I'm going with recency bias again. I've been on the road a lot recently, doing my best to lead the way as selling as our CEO at Data.World. Our executive team has been doing the same, and I feel very grateful to work with them. This is an essential skill and one that took me a while to develop. As I review our startup portfolio at Hurt Family Investments, the companies that are doing the best have a founder CEO that really focuses on selling. The largest exit we received this year was from BounceX, now called Wonderkind, formerly named Bounce Exchange, which has a very strong selling culture from the CEO down. So here we go with this lesson from the Entrepreneur's Essentials. It was first shared at Lucky7.io on February 1st, 2014, right after Deborah and I returned from a trip to India where we studied Vedanta. I was in a very balanced state of mind when I wrote this. Studying Vedanta has been really impactful, and I recommend this book on business and relationships, named Governing Business and Relationships, by our teacher Swamiji Parthasarathi, if you would like to get started. And of course, the link to that is here on Medium. I made very few edits to the original post below, mostly in the area of readability, not in substance of content. There is no more effective selling tool in a company's organization than the company's CEO. However, this tool is not used nearly as often or effectively as it should be, and that is because of the CEO themselves. CEOs must adopt the regular practice of selflessly serving the rest of the organization. They must realize that their selling megaphone is larger than any other. This is not because they're better than anyone else in the organization. Everyone in the organization is just playing their role to their best of their ability. It is because the CEO possesses the company's highest executive title, and the title signals several important distinctions. Number one, the CEO is the synthesis point for the entire organization. No other role can set the priorities and direction for the entire company as effectively because no other role is tasked with the management of the entire organization. Every other role, such as the head of engineering, is functionally focused. Number two, hierarchy is learned from the very beginning of business education. As a result, everyone is trained on the CEO being the most powerful person in the organization. The CEO is the only one that can hire, fire, and promote the executive team, and these responsibilities set the culture and performance for the entire organization. Number three, if the CEO is also a founder of the business, then they embody the American dream. In the Lucky7.io post on the similarity of the DNA of 1776, Steve Jobs, and Israel, see the links below for further reading. The point is made that there is an entrepreneur in all of us, and therefore a call to action for all of us to help those brave souls. It took me a while to realize the importance of selling as a CEO. At the start of my founder and CEO career, what got me to that initial milestone were the technical skills I had developed, thanks to my mother allowing me to focus on my calling in life from the age of 7. As a result, I felt very comfortable programming. I was in the flow of it, but I hadn't developed presentation skills. I didn't know how to sell. However, I was lucky enough to be authentically living my calling, and that is the most effective sales tool of all. Anyone you're trying to sell to will feel your energy, your authenticity. It provides the best foundation in which to build selling skills. And you have to learn selling skills just like any other. Practicing, doing, reflecting, refining. Because developing a new skill is difficult, some CEOs shy away from it and therefore make an excuse for themselves not engaging in selling. These excuses range from, number 1, the product is beautiful, it should sell itself. I just need coin-operated people to sell it for me. The attitude is, that is what I hired you for. Number 2, selling is a basic activity. It isn't as complex as managing the strategy and priorities of the overall company, hiring, firing, and promoting the executive team, managing the board, fundraising, and other CEO duties. Selling is easy. Number 3, I have no time to sell. I'm too busy with more important activities, and it isn't in my job description. These excuses are all terribly wrong. The attitude prevalent in them is a selfish one, not a selfless one. Because the CEO is the synthesis point of the entire organization, if they adopt these excuses and attitudes, the rest of the organization will model them. The head of sales will almost solely be responsible for managing sales as a result. This is why some head of sales complain about not being supported by the CEO, and why some CEOs go through many head of sales, all while failing to meet their sales targets. Instead, the CEO's attitude needs to shift as follows. Number 1, it is my duty to the organization to leverage the CEO megaphone that I have been entrusted with by our investors, the board, and all of our people to learn how to sell. My team will teach me, or I can practice presentation and selling, or I can hire presentation and selling coaches to do the same. I will practice, do, reflect, and refine. Number 2, this business is my calling in life. Everything I've done in the past has led up to this point. I cannot make an excuse to not learn how to sell, or I will hold the entire organization back from the great success it can achieve. Number 3, it is too important to all of us in the company to change the world for the better for me to shy away from such an important activity. It would be selfish to do so. I must be better than that. I must be selfless. As CEO, I create my own job description. Like developing any skill, over time it starts to click. And with more success at doing it, it starts to become more fun. What is more important than bringing in revenue? Without it, your business doesn't survive. What is more important than bringing in clients that are attracted to your mission? Without it, your collective dream doesn't become a reality. What is more important than working as a collective and selflessly serving each other? Without it, you will not have the great culture you seek. The last 3 days of each quarter at Bazaar Voice were always the most exhilarating. Thanks to our head of sales, Michael Osborne, and his mysterious green soccer ball, we adopted the color green as a symbol of we are all in this together. We will achieve our goals together. We are all selling. As a result, we almost always beat our sales goal under his leadership. Osborne inspired all of us. I played a part to the best of my ability. I would place calls and write emails to prospects that were on the fence. I would walk the halls asking the sales team how I could be of service to them. I would work with the executive team to ensure we could commit to deliver on a prospect's unique request. And then I would communicate our commitment to that prospect. I would leverage my network to help us get higher in the organization and to effect more change at their company. I would seek opportunities to present to large groups of our prospects on the power of social commerce, the voice of the marketplace. In summary, a CEO must learn how to sell. To not do so, is to be selfish, to shy away from developing a critical skill that will help the entire company. To not do so is a waste of the most valuable megaphone in the company. Again, not because CEO themselves are important, they're no lesser or greater. They are no lesser or greater than any other person working at the company, but because they are the one entrusted with the CEO title. Once you develop the skill of selling, you will become a more effective CEO overall. You will be better at recruiting, better at raising money from investors, better at business development, and better at passionately tapping the energy of all the great people that are in your company and looking to you to set the example. You will be better at leading the company to beat its goals. I would love to hear how you practice this as a CEO, or how you see the best CEOs you've worked for do so. And in this, I have this beautiful photo of Michael Osborne and the sales team when they all dressed up like Elvis, when we blew away our goals. And we had a stretch goal trip that if we did so, we would all go to Vegas. And it was one of the best trips in the history of Bizarre Voice. That photo you can see here on Medium for chapter 15. Back to reading. Note, this was originally posted on my blog at lucky7.io, where I've been writing about primarily entrepreneurship since 2012. The original post is there along with an interesting comments thread, and you can see that here on Medium. Additional Lucky 7 reading on the importance of selling outside of the scope of the entrepreneur's essentials. Number 1, the tale of Bizarre Voice is told through the shirts on our backs, 2007 to 2009, part 2. It's a 3-part series. The legend of Michael Osborne's green soccer ball and a window into the Bizarre Voice sales culture. And that is linked here on Medium. And you can tell what a big fan I am of company t-shirts and all of the recordings for these chapters in the Entrepreneur's Essentials. They're a really important part of your culture and really define different milestones along the way. Number 2, a rant on derogatory language in business. Get words like coin-operated people out of your mind and your vocabulary. And that also is linked here on Medium.